Peace, world. Thanks for pressing play on another Pay Me No Mind sports and entertainment video. We'll get into a little bit of boxing on the back end, maybe, regarding the article that I saw last night come out with Deontay Wilder claiming that it'll be a 50-50 split or no fight. But man, I got to talk about my Wolverines, man. Wow. I'm not gonna lie. I can't even give you no details or the little bit of details and stats that I typically try to include because I turned the game off, man. I actually gave a shot to my wife's. My wife has she watches the way she watches sports. She has a I don't know, good luck trick or whatever you want to call it. But if her team is losing early in the game, man, she doesn't want to watch the comeback. She turns off or turns away and wants to come back in the third. Her Eagles, she wants to come back in the third or fourth quarter and see that the comeback already happened. You know, but as a man, we gotta watch the ugly and the good, or the ugly and the pretty stuff. So I saw what was going on in the first half, man, and I was like, I'm gonna give my wife's thing a shot because this looks like what it looks like and what it looked like at the end of the night. So I don't even know what the final score was. Texas Tech, man, I'm gonna tell you from I don't know if it's barbershop, faux streets, not the real streets, but faux streets, man. For you to have that jump man badge on your shoulder and to lose to Under Armour, man, that hurt. And I'm not even a Nike basketball guy like I used to be. I'm not even an Air Jordan guy. I'm a comfortably retired sneakerhead, man. But just knowing the hierarchy of basketball footwear, it was just, that should never happen, man. If we keeping it funky, that should never happen, man. That you should play next year. They should just play with a shadow of the Jumpman patch until you play Texas Tech again. Just put that shadow up there. But anyway, getting back to it, man. It's hard to sit here and complain and be nasty and be upset about a 30-win team, man. But the way the team is constructed, everything has to come out of the offense. And March Madness is not about offenses, man. March Madness is about good or great college players. Like, somebody has to rise to the occasion. And Jordan Poole, you know, he can't go one-on-one. He can't get his own and create his own shot. Simpson, with that slow-paced basketball control stuff he's trying to do, and that 60s, that Bob Cousy running shot that he's doing, a hook shot. Brad Deacons, of course, he's a freshman. But I just don't understand. I mean, and that's the thing. If you are running your offense, and Texas Tech played some damn good defense, and they had a top 5, top 3 defense in all of college basketball. I get it. But you had a week to prepare for this game, Coach B. How come your shooters aren't getting the types of looks that they need to not be shooting shots that they're not comfortable shooting, it's not a part of their repertoire? And so, you know, Charles Matthews, I told you at the beginning of the tournament, he had to be the guy that he was last year for a few games. And he didn't show up last night. And again, and this isn't just a Michigan thing, man, but it's crazy that you can watch college basketball, man, and they don't know how to get the ball into the post when they need, when you go for 5 to 7 minutes without scoring a basket, and you get mismatches in the post, or you have a big man that you cannot get the ball to and let him go to work a few times to either get a foul and go to the line, get the opposing team's big men in foul trouble, or just give yourself at a high percentage shot. But time and time again, man, you find it'll be a forward with a guard on his back in the post after a switch on a screen, and they can't even get the ball into that mismatch to take advantage of that advantage to get a good shot. And it's just like, that's basketball common sense. And then they go out there and shoot a three, or usually they just get lazy and just shoot a three, and you're like 0 for 9. And it's like, well, you could have just turned around and threw the ball into the stands. I mean, that was how useful that possession was. Instead of working to get the ball into the post and let your big man do something. But anyway, like I said, I see that all throughout college basketball. But getting back to Michigan, just like I said, I don't sit here and attack kids and student athletes and all of that. But it's imperative, man, that Beeline bring in some guys who can get their own shots off. And it's almost like we have this 4-1 offense where it's just Teskey down low and trying to throw passes to Teskey that he just can't even catch. So I didn't understand that. But Teskey is down low, and then everybody else is working the perimeter. So we're not in good rebounding positions. We're not in position for offensive rebounds because everybody is on the perimeter. I don't know why Livers isn't used better. I would think that by the time you get to Livers, he's playing a weaker defender or a weaker basketball player. Let him go to work. And here's a guy, this dude was former Michigan Player of the Year. Like, you have to have some offensive ability. Plus, he got some decent height and size on him. So, but he's another one. He's more of a catch and shoot guy as opposed to doing anything off of the bounce. So, like I said, man, it is. And to be honest, I don't know if I had Texas Tech advancing that far because I didn't know too much about them. I'm not a fan of that of that basketball program in general. But I might have had Michigan bowing out. I don't know. I don't have my bracket with me, but I think I might have had them bowing out at this part right here, just because of the simple fact that we get into the nitty gritty of it, and we just don't have that one-on-one player. And like I said, with Brazdeikis being a freshman, you couldn't rely on him to do it. He hadn't shown that he was capable of I mean, he was up and down. But just with it being March Madness, I didn't put my money on him being able to do it. Plus, again, I just don't think the offense is ran right for the success of different players. Simpson keeps the ball too much. Last game, Poole was doing some jab steps. He was being aggressive with getting to the basket. He was doing some things that looked like he wanted to create his own shot, or he was forcing the issue. And from what I saw him in the first half last night, he took a couple of threes. I think he tried to step back. It was off, and he just didn't seem to have that. You just gotta want to do that dirty work, man. You gotta want to get in the lane, take some contact, and just not lose. And I just didn't see that from any of those guys. And Matthews, I guess I was reading earlier, he has one more year of eligibility. He's a guy that actually went in and let himself get went to get the assessment last year from the NBA. Like, that needs to be the least of his concern, man. He's not an NBA player, man. I'm sorry. Even with the Robinson GR3, the way that he's bounced around and sitting on the bench of teams, I don't even think Matthews is good enough to do that, man. Not enough ball handling. And his one move is to get into the lane with that pivot and step back. You get some separation and rise up and shoot. But he's not even doing that this year. So, and then we don't have, I don't know, man. I don't want to keep complaining about the guys and sit here all bitter about losing to Texas Tech, Under Armour, sponsored team. I don't even want to go through it, man. The best team won. I will, tip my cap to those guys. They kept their foot on Michigan's neck. They saw what they were dealing with and what and stayed on it, and they I believe they led most of the way. So I'm just saying, man, you look at somebody like Carson Edwards from Purdue, taking big shots and taking and making big shots. And that's why they were able to prevail. And then a dude like Klein steps up. Like, we didn't have none of that. So, and I'm not going to lie, man. Michigan State is another team. I could see them. I mean, Cassius Winston, he's a more patient scorer. But he's another guy, or they're another team, man. They run that offense the whole damn game. And but the only thing with them is they're more physical. They rebound. They work the boards better. Whereas Michigan just isn't doing that. But anyway, man, let me switch on over to this boxing situation with Deontay Wilder, WBC champion, undefeated. First of all, I just want to say one thing between Wilder and Anthony Joshua. I couldn't talk to besides two brothers in my office. Anybody non-black in my office, which is by far the majority, they don't know who either one of those guys are. Either one of them. Couldn't point them out of they could walk by them in Walmart and they wouldn't know who either one of them are. So I don't really get the whole difference, the whole deal in the popularity, being a whatever. I'm not really buying into none of that. One is more popular than the other. Both of them have popularity issues. ESPN wanted to run out this thing about Deontay Wilder being 100, the world fame 100. How do you ignore social media numbers? Like, how do you ignore? That's direct follows. Like, how could we ignore that? So I don't care really what this list told me. Wilder struggles in popularity in the States too. But that's neither here nor there. But with the 50-50 thing, I'm good with it. If that's the position, I'm great with it. Because now we can all finally move on and just understand that the people that had the power to make that fight happen, for whatever reason or another, they didn't want to do it. They don't want to do it. So, again, boxing fans are sitting here, just holding the bag. Literally. Like, we had money that we would put towards this fight, and we won't because they can't put it together. And the thing is, to sit here and say, well, someone said something, someone made this comment, someone made that comment. Like, this is boxing. Where the hell did the PC police come through in boxing and you can't say stuff? Like, that's part of the promotion, is saying stuff. So I don't understand that, but okay, that's something else that's out there. But what I'm excited about, these two may face each other down the road. They really might. But I think it'll be after one or both of them have lost their O's. It'll be one of them will have a loss, or both of them will have a loss, and then it'll be more of an impetus for them to make that fight. And that's how it'll probably be. That's how boxing typically works out. And especially with the heavyweight division, that's kind of par for the course. So who cares? But what they'll go ahead and do now, it'll be other fighters that get shots that they would normally get. And I think both of these brothers have some deficiencies, and one of them will take an L. And then the fight will lose all the luster that it currently has at this moment. And we'll just get what we get. And that's kind of how boxing is. I mean, that's the way that it's always ran. So what's the sense in having the expectation now that just because we had a major event? What up there, Junior, man? I saw you over there cooking, man. I was lurking like you said my man does. I saw you over there going hard, man. I couldn't even weigh in. But anyway, I got about 5 more minutes here. I got to get on in here. But it just is what it is. And I think it's already lining up where you see guys like Pulev. If he don't have this, from what I heard last night, his license was already suspended. But all of these, it's other guys out there. It's other bodies that get elevated to get into these fights. And whether they're good fights, whether they're great fights, I don't know. The one thing that concerns me, though, is that it could be a situation for like an Anthony Joshua where It's not a big time fight, and he doesn't show up with that energy, with the right energy, and he takes an L. We already have questions about his chin. We already have questions about how he looks at different weights. Does he not work out as hard, or go as hard in camp and come in a little on the heavier side? Or does he, believe I can be heavier in this fight and just have a miscalculation that ends up or results in him losing a fight or looking bad in a fight? Probably, it's possible. It's the heavyweight division. And, Hasim Rahman, who didn't have, a fraction of the talent or a fraction of the big-time game that Lennox Lewis had. He put that man down. So it'll be something foolish that gets in here, messes it all up, and everybody will look, and all the parties included will look like fools. So, like I said, I'm not going to sit here and point any fingers and take a side. I guess for me, at this point, and I think another thing to go along with this, after each one of these fights, after the Brazil fight, after the Miller fight, depending on if, the favorites win or the champions win, which one of them could lose. One or both could lose. What I want to see at that point is does the Wilder camp, do they put together another offer? Like, you got to make this thing work too. You don't have to try to get this thing done either. So one thing that I've been disappointed in is the lack of, we haven't heard anything about counter proposals to anything. What do you need to see besides just a one-off fight? We have heard that much. But if it can be a one-off fight, if the fight can happen in America, then what else are the sticking points here? But like I said, I'm cool with it. I'm not gonna sit here and point fingers and go through it. I'll like I said, there's other divisions for me to pay attention to, so I have no problem just moving on. But I'm just tired of this dominating the headlines of boxing. I'm tired of it fueling the different factions and so on and so forth. So great. Like I said, it's other heavyweights out there that's coming along. The Bella has a group of guys, they're not quite ready. They're not household names, but it's a lot more bodies out there than what we know about. And if the big two can't get together, or the big three, that is, can't get together, like I said, we'll start learning about some of these other guys right now who are early in their journeys. Maybe 12, 14 fights. Those guys will get on faster tracks, and we'll get the next group of fighters. So, and then the funny thing is, as boxing always does, when those guys emerge and get to be at the top, we'll be right back here at the same situation where the business people can't get it sorted out, and that's boxing. So, hey, with that said, man, I'm gonna get on off of here. Shout out to March Madness going on tonight. We'll get Duke tonight, I believe. Hell of a game last night between Purdue and Tennessee. I mean, that's what this tournament is all about right here, but right there. But I can't think of who else is on that side of the bracket. What is the big team? Who else is over there with? Oh, Virginia. Yeah, Virginia and Duke. Did Oregon play last night? I thought that was tonight. Anyway, I'm looking weaker as I try to extend things. So let me get on out of here, man. I'm just pay me no minding. And let me go in here and get this Good Friday in and get these people what they need from me so I can get back to my thing.